This couple didn't know he was uninsured and unlicensed. He had the words licensed and insured all over his truck and website. A lie that may put him behind bars. Look who's getting ready for court. It's Artimus Brintley, Hall of Shamer and now defendant.
We ended up paying him over $44,000.
Artimus is being charged as a habitual offender for taking money under false pretenses. If convicted, he could go to prison for 15 years. And it's for the exact stuff I told you about last May. Hey, Artimus, how are you? How are you? Rob Walchuk from Fox 2. I busted Artimus while bidding a contractor's job. I mean, you'd sure think Artimus was a contractor. He drove around in a van that said his company was licensed and insured. His website said he was licensed and insured. But guess what? Are you a licensed contractor?
No. He is definitely a liar.
Jody found out the hard way. She and her husband hired Artimus to fix up a couple of their investment properties. But from the start, it was a disaster. That's the guy Artimus told Jody he hired to help work on her house. But the only thing this crew is working on is stealing Jody's appliances. Artimus was good at playing the victim because he went on Channel 7 and told a sad story about how he lost his tools in the burglary. He started a GoFundMe page and managed to get thousands in donations, even though Jody was the one who had to replace all her appliances. Next, Jody says Artimus started a fire.
He left a heat gun plugged in, and it was sitting on top of paint cans and next to paint thinner, on top of shims, a bag of shims, which is dry wood, and paint rags, and it caught fire.
Here's how it looked after the fire. Jody's new countertops and floors ruined. You thinking he's insured, he's going to pay for this?
Absolutely.
And you found out?
We have no recourse.
Jody's insurance company found out it was all a lie. Artimus wasn't insured. Artimus wasn't a licensed builder. In fact, Artimus isn't even this guy's first name. It's really Tyrone Artimus Brintley, and he's a felon convicted of a gun offense. Artimus, a.k.a. Tyrone, blocked Jody's phone, disappeared and never finished Jody's job. But he kept on taking on new construction jobs. That's when I busted him. Artimus denied starting the fire, says it was one of his awesome subcontractors, but admits he told Jody and her husband he's licensed and insured and isn't. Don't you think that's misleading? No. Weird answer to something that sure seems like a full-on lie, but he does promise to give Jody her money back. But he doesn't, which brings us to court. This is the preliminary examination in 36th District Court in Detroit. That's Judge Ronald Giles. Artimus doesn't say a thing, but Jody does on the witness stand.
He told us he was licensed and insured.
And my Hall of Shame story is part of the case.
What, if anything, did the defendant, Mr. Brintley, say to Rob Walchuk about the status of his work, whether he was licensed and insured?
He said he was not licensed.
Tyrone Artimus Brintley's defense attorney, Kiana Franulik, just seems to be making things worse by bringing up other jobs.
Let me make it this way. Let me make it clear as I can make it. You now have opened the door for another charge.
Your Honor, I'm trying to break down the
I'm just making a statement, counsel. You do what you want with it. But you're opening the door for another charge.
Wayne County Assistant Prosecutor Stephen Kaplan closes with this.
And then they met the contractor from hell here who says, oh, I'm licensed, I'm very good, I'm great, I'm insured. He had no intention of doing that work, Judge.
With that, the judge rules there's sufficient evidence to move the case along to circuit court. Tyrone Artimus Brintley has pled not guilty and will be arraigned in the higher court for false pretenses later this month. Artimus, you're not that smartimus. You're in the Hall of Shame. Jody and her husband are still trying to fix up that house. They say they lost so much money from paying for the fire damage and Artimus bailing on the job. They're not sure when their projects will be done.